So, Sarah, the Bulwark did a focus group with voters who went from President Biden in 2020 to President Trump in the last election. And here is some of what they had to say about the tariffs.
The tariffs, I don't get, and it kind of concerns me a little bit. But I'm hoping it will make sense shortly. Right now, it kind of doesn't to me.
I am too a little scared about the tariffs because the stock market has plunged a few times, and I'm glad I just bought a newer car in December because the price is all up right now. So I'm still a little worried. I think it's been awful. I'm sorry. I had to get an oil change, and it's not even at a regular car dealer. It cost me $10 more. So I'm not seeing it. And why I voted for Trump was for the prices to come down at the grocery store. Nothing's come down. That's why I voted for Trump. And they're talking about your cell phones, your cars, and everything is just going higher. I know it might hurt for us now, but when it hurts now, it's hard to recover for someone like me. So it really hits me in the gut.
Wow. And these are Trump voters once again. Sarah, how across the board was this contention that they are disappointed in what's happening with these tariffs?
Well, I don't know that it was entirely across the board. There are some voters that say, look, I'm not sure about this, but I'm willing to give it a shot, or I'm willing to wait and see. I think the fundamental thing to understand, though, isn't even from this focus group. It's from the hundreds of focus groups that I did going into this election, really understanding that the number one thing that Donald Trump was hired to do by so many of these voters was lower prices. I mean, that is what put him in the White House. It is why people overlooked his myriad flaws. It goes to sort of the central offering of Donald Trump, which is that he is a businessman. This is how these voters think of him, and that he will do good things for the economy. And so to me, what is interesting is when you see a lot of this polling come out showing that Trump's overall approval rating is actually higher than his approval rating on the economy. Voters are starting to doubt that he is going to do the good things for the economy that he promised. And remember, he told people he was going to lower grocery costs on day one. And for a lot of voters that we were talking to, even though the macro economy under Joe Biden was strong, we just listened to people talk over and over again about how they were struggling with grocery prices and with housing prices and with inflation. And so right now, what you're seeing is voters really starting to say, is he going to focus on this at all? Is he going to do something about this? Because this is the thing that impacts me personally. And so when he hasn't brought inflation down, when he hasn't brought prices down, and then on top of that, he's introducing this uncertainty into the market. And look, there's a lot of people in these groups who work for small businesses who are in the supply chains, and they understand. They'll tell you, if this goes through, not only will it decimate my business, but also how am I supposed to plan now for what I'm going to do going forward? So a lot of uncertainty about the tariffs, even among Trump voters.
Tariffs are definitely something that President Donald Trump owns, quite frankly, proudly. He considers himself quite the deal maker and was, I think, in a way, bragging about, maybe that's the way I took it, but about people coming and that term that I will not use on the air, but sucking up to him. I'll use that. It's a little crass, little less crass. Liking that and getting all these countries to beg for exemptions. So it's Trump, the deal maker, and this is the kind of deal making he does, where people are put in a position of weakness and have to beg for him to make things different for them. I think there are consequences to this kind of deal making globally, and to the bottom line, Lauren, leader, of people's lives, where you heard from that one person in the focus group who's like, it's very hard to recover from what is being called a short-term period of discomfort.
Well, and I think we underestimate, there's like these two ends of the spectrum, right? One is the power of Wall Street and how much, Trump has really ingratiated himself to the finance community. I think part of why he won was that so many sort of middle of the road folks who work in and around finance, especially in New York, we saw this huge breaking towards Trump from the finance community in the last election. What I hear from everyone at that sort of high end of the scale is they're just appalled appalled. This is throwing their whole businesses, their lives, et cetera, into chaos. And that's at the high end of the economy. And then you've got this other side of the economy, which we know is so stratified. And that is, just how profoundly scary this is for Americans who are already struggling with the cost of living. I wrote a piece this week for Know Your Value about the impact on women who were already paying higher prices across the board for most of the products that they need, were already had lower investments in their 401k to begin with, right? Women were already facing a big retirement gap. Now you're seeing this huge hit on the market, which has a real impact on their ability to retire. And then, just the sort of overall sense of like the chaos and the stress that this induces. We have more women in poverty in this country than any other Americans. And for people on the margins, like that number, 3,800, even just another $5 on your grocery bill can be catastrophic. And I think that's what makes this such an interesting political issue, is just how universally it's going to impact Americans. It's hard to think of anything else in recent times that has such a broad impact on people of all ends of the economic spectrum.
There is such a clear shoot first, aim later philosophy to all of this. And the question to your point is, who's going to feel that pain? Who's actually getting shot, right? And so what is so disturbing is that, politically speaking, if you were to just optimize for your own self-interest as a party, you would let him make clear that there is going to be suffering, that you will, in fact, feel that pain. And so now we're in this position, John, of trying to save not Donald Trump from himself, but the American people from realizing that that guy isn't good at business. He's good at politics. And he's using you to further ends that are going to cost you the most important things that you feel day to day.
And what's also new about this is we know that Trump's, in his playbook, one of his favorite plays is to blame his predecessor, blame others. Hey, this is President Biden, the President Biden. He can't do that here.
Nope.
These tariffs are simply on him, and he'll own whatever their effects may be. Turning now to his administration's insistence it is not required to work with El Salvador's government in efforts to return Kilmar Abrego Garcia, the Maryland man who Trump officials admit they deported last month by mistake. In a 7-page filing, DOJ lawyers argued that the federal courts have no authority to direct the executive branch to conduct foreign relations in a particular way. They also argued that a Supreme Court ruling last week only requires federal officials to admit Abrego Garcia back into the country if he were to be released by the government of El Salvador. Basically, they're saying, hey, he's not our possession now, he's theirs. On Friday, President Trump said that while he wasn't well-versed on the case, he was respectful of and would follow Supreme Court orders. Other administration officials said differently, and Trump himself appeared to walk back those comments in a post on social media Saturday, writing in part this: these barbarians are now in the sole custody of El Salvador, and went on to say that he was working with that country's president to, quote, eradicate terrorist organizations.
So can you make a deal on this? Well, again, everyone calls it a mistake. The entire program of deporting all of these people, and they are still being deported. I think there was another set over the weekend. Unlawful, no due process, all questionable.
Right. Even gang members who perhaps should be deported still are entitled to due process. Yes. None of them were afforded that. And certainly there are now not just this one incident. There are several individuals who have been reportedly deported by mistake. But David Drucker, I mean, the president of El Salvador is in town. Yeah. He got to Washington last night.
Maybe they could chat.
He's going to the White House today. There is certainly no belief that this prisoner came back on the president's flight to join Ben Sanders last night. So this is, as we talked about earlier in the show, a significant moment where the Trump team is still not, it's not an outright defiance of the Supreme Court, but it's everything but. They're delaying, they're trying to work around it, they're trying to say, well, they're trying to be cute about it. But what's coming is the Supreme Court sharpening its wording and saying, do this. And if the Trump people says no, how does that play in the building behind you?
Right. So that's where the rubber meets the road here, right? The encouraging thing, so to speak, is that the administration keeps claiming that it is not defying the courts. And that's better than outright saying, we don't care what the courts tell us, we're going to do what we want. I think the question here is whether or not the aggressive way in which the White House has been handling the issue of border security illegal immigration and dealing with the deportation of migrants, whether the politics is ever going to change. While the president's numbers on the economy have dropped because of, dissatisfaction, at least among independents and Democratic voters, when it has to do with the trade war he sparked and the economic turbulence that has stemmed from that. One of the things that is keeping his overall job approval rating probably the highest it's ever been consistently for Trump, and that means above 45% and just below 50. And that's even now, according to the averages. It's because of how he's been handling border security generally. And one of the things after inflation, which Sarah did a great job of detailing there, that the president was elected to do, among the things he wasn't elected to do, but one of the things he was elected to do, besides bring down prices, was bring a sense of order and security to the border and the immigration process that people felt under the Biden administration. Not only was the border not secure, but that we were just at the whim of people crossing illegally and, declaring asylum, gaming the asylum system, and doing whatever they wanted. And so his aggressive way of handling this voters have not been upset with that, generally speaking. Does that ever change? Then maybe the people in the building behind me will change as well, but not until then.
Well, Sarah, let's go to you on that very point. You talk to voters all the time for your focus groups. What are you hearing about this, about immigration writ large, but also cases like this where due process not afforded and the wrong people sent away?
Yeah, I'm not hearing a lot about this. Look, I do think generally speaking, David's absolutely right. The second most important reason that people hired Donald Trump was to do something about the border. And it is very difficult. And I think it speaks to one of the difficulties of our larger political moment to get people really focused on things like due process, which of course is essential to who we are as Americans. But, when they hear, well, somebody, is a gang member, even if they're not, even if that's not proven, when you've got the vice president telling them that it's true, it's difficult to get the American people to rally over something like that, which is why on the economy and where they're suffering negative personal consequences, they're much more likely to get engaged than they are on an issue like immigration.
I'm really sad people don't care as much about this as it seems we should. Just really quick, Pablo.
If you were to reframe it, though, in a different way, right?
Yeah.
If you want to be the administration known for strength, why are you so weak when it comes to trying to negotiate?
Can't get one guy back?
With your friend, with the one ally you got at this point.
Yeah.
It just feels like a contradiction in image, let alone principle.
Yeah. Executive Director of Republican Voters Against Trump and publisher of The Bulwark, Sarah Longwell, thank you so much. Her latest piece on Trump voters and tariffs is online.